Hey everyone, welcome back to AI Tech Hub. I'm Cody. So, in today's explainer, we are going to tackle something that literally everyone talks about, but honestly, very few people actually take the time to properly define. We hear these phrases thrown around everywhere. Just save it to the cloud, or we're migrating our database to AWS, or maybe we host our entire backend on Azure. But what do those acronyms actually mean? And what are those companies practically doing behind the scenes? Well, my goal today is to completely strip away all that abstract tech jargon and figure this out together using a concept that we are all incredibly familiar with.
Okay, let's just dive right into the big question. What actually is the cloud? For a lot of people, the word cloud conjures up this fuzzy, invisible, almost magical realm up in the sky where all of our photos, our emails, and enterprise apps just happily float around. I mean, it sounds incredibly abstract, right? But the reality? It is deeply physical and surprisingly grounded. To really wrap our heads around what's happening when you upload a massive data set to the cloud, or when a massive business runs its global platform on it, we actually need to step away from the tech world entirely for a second. To strip away that abstraction, let's look at this whole thing through the lens of commercial real estate. Think about the mechanics of owning a physical house. If you want a house, you're looking at a massive upfront capital expense. You've got to buy the land, you have to build the structure, and critically, when something breaks, like say a pipe bursts at 2 a.m., you have to fix it yourself, or you're paying a huge premium to get a plumber out there. You hold absolutely all the liability. In the tech world, that is exactly what running your own physical servers is like. A business has to purchase the physical hardware, pay for massive amounts of commercial electricity, maintain these incredibly complex cooling systems, and absorb all the risk if a hard drive fails. And if you suddenly need more server space, well, you are literally waiting months to order, rack, and configure brand new machines. But on the flip side, think about renting an apartment. When you rent, you don't own the building, you don't have to worry about the foundational plumbing, you simply use the physical space you're in, and you pay a monthly fee for exactly what you need. If your family grows and you need more room, you just upgrade to a bigger unit almost instantly. Need less space? You downgrade. That is true scalability. The landlord handles all the heavy, foundational infrastructure, so you can just focus on, well, living there. And that apartment analogy translates perfectly into our formal definition, because this is what the cloud actually is. The cloud is simply massive physical data centers where companies rent out computing power, storage, and services to anyone who needs them. It is absolutely not a fluffy, ethereal thing in the sky. Instead of a business having to buy land, build a heavily air-conditioned server room, and maintain the plumbing and electricity for their own custom hardware, they just rent digital space. You don't buy servers anymore. You rent exactly what you need, exactly when you need it. It brings complete elasticity to a business. Just like moving into a pre-built apartment, the foundational work is already done for you. So, if the cloud is essentially just rented apartment space for data, who exactly are the landlords? Well, here they are. The internet's biggest property managers. You have Amazon with their web service called AWS, you have Microsoft running Azure, and you have Google operating GCP. Amazon, Microsoft, and Google realized years ago that building individual physical houses was wildly inefficient and super expensive for most businesses. So what did they do? They spent billions of dollars buying up land and building these digital skyscrapers that we call data centers. They handled the insanely complex infrastructure, securing the power grid, optimizing the cooling, building out intense physical security, and now they act as the ultimate landlords, renting out that vast computing power and storage to the rest of the world on demand. The absolutely crucial takeaway here is that the cloud is not magic. Whenever you hear a tech guru or a salesperson throwing around buzzwords or trying to make cloud computing sound like this incomprehensible, futuristic mystery, I want you to remember this analogy. It is just really, really big apartments. We are talking about physical computers sitting in giant warehouses owned by Amazon, Microsoft, and Google that you are simply paying to use for a little while. Honestly, demystifying that single concept makes understanding the infrastructure of the entire modern internet so much easier. And it perfectly explains why companies are so eager to shift away from owning their own hardware to just paying rent. But simplifying things always leads us to new, pretty fascinating questions. Think about it. If the cloud is just someone else's rented computers, if you were putting all of your most valuable business intelligence and proprietary data into an apartment building owned by a massive tech landlord, who truly owns your data? How much control do you really have when you hand the keys over to a landlord like Amazon or Microsoft? It's a massive question concerning data privacy and vendor lock-in, and it's for sure something every single person and business using the cloud needs to heavily consider. Anyway, that is all for today's explainer. If you enjoyed this breakdown, make sure to follow and subscribe. We break down a brand new, complex concept just like this in every single explainer, stripping away the jargon to help you truly understand how our tech world works. I'm Cody with AI Tech Hub, and I will see you in the next one.